This is my C5 Corvette. It announced itself, started as a drip, promoted itself to a puddle without asking for permission, which actually makes the diagnosis easier. When something leaks that obviously, you follow the trail and it takes you right to the source. Shift shaft seal, right where the shift shaft enters the transmission housing. Say that 3 times. For now on, we'll just call it the triple S seal. Small seal had big ambitions apparently, and here's how we fix it. Before we get to the shift shaft seal or the triple S seal, we need to get the exhaust out of the way. On the C5 Corvette, the exhaust runs right through the area we need to access. Nothing comes out of nowhere on these cars. Everything's packaged tight. Exhaust bolts first. These can be stubborn on a car with some age on it. Penetrating oil if they need it, patience if they don't. Take your time here. A snapped exhaust bolt turns a straightforward job into a bad day. 30 years of this work, and the job that gets you is never the one you planned for. It's always a stuck bolt on the way to something else. Exhaust is out of the way. Now the shift cable. The shift cable connects your shifter inside the car to the transmission. It's what tells the transmission what gear you want. When this comes off, the car isn't going anywhere, which is fine because it's on a lift. Take note of how it's routed before it comes off. You'll thank yourself when it goes back on. Shift cable is out. Now for the linkage. The shift linkage is the mechanical connection between the cable and the transmission itself. This is what we need out of the way to access the shift shaft seal. Take it off carefully. Note the orientation. These aren't complicated, but they go back only one way, and fighting it later wastes time you don't need to waste. This is the part of the job that looks like a lot from the outside. Once you're in here, it's just methodical. One thing at a time. Work the sequence and don't skip ahead. The guys who rush this are the ones who make a 2-hour job into a 4-hour job. So here's where that seal lives, but as you can see, my tool isn't going to fit in there with the transmission up. So I've got 2 options, either drop the transmission or modify the tool. Looks like I'm going to modify the tool. So I cut about half of it off. Try this, hopefully it's going to work. Try to get it nice and level. Looks like it worked. Oh, there's the shaft seal we're looking for. And there's the new one. That's what we're getting after. Looks like the installer tool needs the same treatment. So I'm going to trim it down to the same length as I trimmed the removing tool. Give that a shot. Well, it looks like this is going to work. I'm going to use my pry bar against this wrench to push that seal in there until it doesn't move anymore. It was a little bit of a hassle, but it's way better than taking the whole transmission down. The linkage goes back on first. Same orientation it came off. If you noted it on the way out, this takes 2 minutes. If you didn't, longer. But it really only goes on one way. Now that the shift cable's back on, route it exactly the same way it came off. There's a lesson in reassembly that took me a while to learn. The time you spend paying attention on the way apart saves you twice that time on the way back together. Getting sober taught me the same thing. Paying attention to how things actually got the way they got saves you from rebuilding the same problem later. The exhaust goes back on last. Same bolts, same torque. If any of them gave you trouble coming off, deal with them properly going back on. Don't just snug them and hope. The last step of not because you expect to find something wrong, because the moment you stop checking is the moment something gets missed. C5 Corvette shift shaft seal, start to finish. This one wasn't quiet about it. Started as a drip, promoted itself to a puddle without even asking for permission. But the fix wasn't selling either way. A $3 part, labor to get it is where the time goes. Follow the trail and find the source. Fix the actual problem, not the symptom. Works on transmissions and works on a lot of things. God bless.